This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you? How dare you? For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear. How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight? You say you hear us and that you understand the urgency. But no matter how sad and angry I am, I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil, and that I refuse to believe. The popular idea of cutting our emissions in half in 10 years only gives us a 50% chance of staying below 1.5 degrees and the risk of setting off irreversible chain reactions beyond human control. 50% may be acceptable to you, but those numbers do not include tipping points, most feedback loops, additional warming hidden by toxic air pollution, or the aspects of equity and climate justice. They also rely on my generation sucking hundreds of billions of tons of your CO2 out of the air with technologies that barely exist. So a 50% risk is simply not acceptable to us, we who have to live with the consequences. How dare you pretend that this can be solved with just business as usual and some technical solutions? With today's emissions levels, that remaining CO2 budget will be entirely gone within less than 8.5 years. There will not be any solutions or plans presented in line with these figures here today, because these numbers are too uncomfortable, and you are still not mature enough to tell it like it is. You are failing us, but the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say we will never forgive you.
Well, tonight, a teenage figure who's become synonymous with the fight against climate change is coming to life here in the Bay Area. A 4-story mural of Greta Thunberg is nearing completion in Union Square. Night Beat's Joe Vasquez on the powerful message that the artist hopes his piece will inspire. Joe?
You are looking at the newest addition to the San Francisco skyline, a mural designed to draw attention to climate change. High above Mason Street, 10 stories up on the side of the Native Sons building near Union Square. Andres Petrocelli, an internationally renowned artist who goes by Gore, is painting a teenage girl with big blue eyes and a Mona Lisa smile. It's a mural of Greta Thunberg. She's the 16-year-old from Sweden who has inspired young people all over the world to take to the streets and let older people know they want climate change to be taken seriously.
What I want to people is to realize that we have to do something for the world, otherwise this is the beginning of our extinction.
Gore says his paintings often provoke reactions, He made the beloved Robin Williams mural on Market Street that was demolished to make way for some high-rise apartments. But this work of art, he says, is different.
This one is a little bit more political in some kind of way because I want them to think about it, to create conversation with the friends and everything. Have you seen the mural of Greta? Say, what is that about? About climate change.
Cobre is donating his time for this cause. The environmental nonprofit One Atmosphere is buying the paint.
You hit people with public art and it hits them in the heart.
Hoping people will be inspired not just to gawk, but to act.
She's a child. At the end of the day, it's a child that's telling us what to do. Now! I hope that people are touched by this image and that they understand the innocence and the strength and the power of her message. And it helps people to bring about some change in their own lives and also get involved politically and bring about changes, at a national and international level.
The Greta mural is expected to be completed by early next week. In San Francisco, on the Night Beat, I'm Joe Vasquez.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams, my childhood with your empty words. And yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you! For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear. How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight? You say you hear us and that you understand the urgency. But no matter how sad and angry I am, I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil.
If I destroy this planet, I destroy the gravity field. The rocket loses protection, falls into the black hole.
Only setting up distant dates and saying things which give the impression of that action is underway will most likely do more harm than good, because the changes required are still nowhere in sight. The politics needed does not exist today, despite what you might hear from world leaders.
Well, the test of the final judgment, I don't know. If I kill you, I kill her.
I still believe that the biggest danger is not inaction. The real danger is when politicians and CEOs are making it look like real action is happening when, in fact, almost nothing is being done apart from clever accounting and creative PR. Without seeing the full picture, we will not solve this crisis. Finding holistic solutions is what the COP should be all about. But instead, it seems to have turned into some kind of opportunity for countries to negotiate loopholes and to avoid raising their ambition.
Except that implies, in this big grand scheme of gods and devils,
that she's just a victim. But I've seen a lot of this universe.
I've seen fake gods, bad gods, and demigods, and would-be gods, and all that.
In just 3 weeks, we will enter a new decade. A decade that will define our future. Right now, we are desperate for any sign of hope. Well, I'm telling you, there is hope. I have seen it. But it does not come from the governments or corporations. It comes from the people. The people who have been unaware but are now starting to wake up. And once we become aware, we change. People can change. People are ready for change.
Out of that whole pantheon,
If I believe in one thing, just one thing.
My name is Greta Thunberg, and I want you to panic.
This Swedish teenager is being credited with igniting a climate revolution. First off, let's take a look at her credentials. Greta Thunberg first heard about climate change when she was just 8 years old. Soon, she'd convinced her family to go vegan and to give up flying. She says that gave her hope that she could make a difference. Greta's Friday for Future protests began in August 2018, when she sat outside the Swedish Parliament on her own every Friday.
This is your freedom! Free to die! You're going into that black hole and I'm riding with
you. Yet, you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
How
You have stolen
dare
my dreams,
you,
my childhood,
sir.
with your empty words. And yet, I'm one of the lucky ones. How dare you continue to
How
look away?
dare you, sir?
But no matter how sad and angry I am, I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil, and that I refuse to believe.
Jane for the real world, wide hood star.
You know I've tried and tried, still I can't get you off my mind. I think about you all the time, girl. I know it's plain to see, girl, you were meant for me. I could be a dream, and you could be my fantasy, girl.
Butterfly doors, dumb slap, make it real dope, but love don't come with that. It feel like it though, till you lose what you got. So let me talk to you till you understand the chat. Let's get to know each other. I'm a CEO, I can meet your father, he'll be proud of you. I'm ill, I'm on the radio, I really rap, not a cat who just say do. I'm on MTV, you seen from the hood, we got shit poppin'. I've been around the world, windows up, tacked out, make a smoke twirl. I bring you everywhere I go, you my diamond girl.
No,